In this video, we're going to take a look at local SEO and how it's of such great importance to trade and service businesses. Toward the end, we're also going to have a look at some actionable steps that you can take to improve your local SEO and get those leads coming into your business. So first of all, what is local SEO and why is it differentiated from SEO? Well, we all know what SEO is, or we've got an idea of what it was. Page one, position one. You would write blogs, you would write content and rank on particular keywords. But local SEO is actually very, very different, and it's about showing up for near me searches or local searches. And this actually has a lot of specificity about how you get that going, and so it needs a dedicated strategy all of its own. However, this is actually the most important type of SEO that you would do for a service or trade business. Why is that? Because you may go further afield for bigger jobs, but the lifeblood of your business is in your local community. The lifeblood of your business, the bread and butter, is in building up a nice community name for yourself, having people recommend you in the local community, and having that more old-fashioned, I'll be around there this afternoon, Mrs. Johnson type of vibe. And so local SEO is incredibly important to keep down your costs, increase your profits, and ensure that you have good standing in your local primary service area. So that means that a local service trade business should be investing in local SEO and all of the different aspects of it. Again, we're going to go through the different ingredients, the most key elements, and how you can put that into place for your business. Now, before we go into it, I do just want to say that local SEO is like a mob of seagulls going for a bag of chips. Okay, you know, just driving around your local area, that if you're a plumber, you're going to see 10 other plumbing vans. There's a lot of competition in the physical space, and in the digital space, that competition is just 100-fold. So it's really important to understand that you can only ever do best practice, try and get a broad range of key elements in place, and then keep working that machine. It will pay off, but it does need a holistic approach. Now, first of all, let's list the core elements of local SEO that we're going to cover, and then we'll go more in depth on what each of them is. So first of all, we have our Google Business Profile. Now, surprisingly, a lot of businesses don't have this in place already, but you may also have heard of Bing Places. Now, that's important. We're going to discuss that in just a moment for ranking with ChatGPT. But a Google Business Profile is one of the things we need to discuss here. The next is geographic targeting. Okay, so this one is actually related to your website, and this is about how your website ranks, kind of a bit like for keywords, but for specific geographical landmarks or geographical signals. Then we've got site and technical performance. Probably not a surprise, but Google wants to recommend fast, optimized websites so that Google's users, the searchers, have a good experience. And so this is as important part of local SEO as it is for any other type of SEO or optimization. And actually, and we'll discuss this a bit more in a moment, it's of more importance for service and trade businesses, given how they're trying to get hold of their customers. And then we have authentic and local content. So this is where we go a bit deeper into the content for the website, but essentially this is about how we lay out the content on the site, what it's trying to rank for, and what it's trying to communicate to Google and search engines, and now ChatGPT and other LLMs. So these are the key elements that we're going to be looking at and understanding a bit more. The Google Business Profile, the geographic targeting, the site and technical performance, and then authentic local content. Okay, cool. So let's go into what each of them is a little bit more in depth. The Google Business Profile is literally the space that Google can carve out for you. It's your online store as far as Google is concerned. Now, it attaches to your website, which is a good thing to do, and you should do that. And also, all of the information on the Google Business Profile should be very accurately the same as what's on your website. So, for example, you should have your different services listed on your Google Business Profile, and you should have those also in ideally separate service pages on your website. And that shows that the website is reflecting properly the business that you've verified in Google Business Profile. In the GBP, you will also be using or defining your service area. You'll be defining your address, your business name, the times that you're open, contact details. All of that, again, should be very consistent, not just on that profile and on your website, but also across other directories. This is what's known as entities, and it's trying to just link everything up and know which business is what. And so it's important to have the consistent information. The important thing to know about Google Business Profile, two things. One of them is that Google cares more about it than it does about your website. The Google Business Profile is the entity that Google trusts. Why? Because it's made you verify yourself and prove who you are, prove that you are legitimate in order for it to exist. So it trusts the information that's there and it will prioritize it. This is why it's not great when people leave that information outdated and don't actually use it. The second thing is that a Google Business Profile should actually be kept up with relevant information. It should have reviews regularly added to it. It should have service updates regularly added to it. There is actually a posting option on a GBP, and so that should be regularly used, not just to update anyone that might find that online, but also it's a signal to Google that the business is still active. An active business is more likely to get recommended to a local user looking for a plumber. So the Google Business Profile is actually absolutely essential for local SEO. It's more essential than the actual website. Just a quick note: we're living in the world of ChatGPT and LLMs, and ChatGPT, although it uses other search engines and definitely uses a lot of information from Google, it does primarily use Bing. They're the same company. They're all tied up and they've got their collaborations. And so Bing has its own version of Google Business Profile, which is Bing Places. So as a business, you should definitely be setting up your Bing Place as well as your GBP. Geographic targeting, let's understand that a little bit more. You can optimize for a lot of different keywords like boiler installation, or I seem to be going on the plumber theme, or bathroom installation or bathroom repair. But geographic targeting is about putting those location keywords in to your content pages. Now, this might be on the About page where you define your service area and you would actually list local towns, cities, villages that you would work in and provide service for. It's really important to do that as a signal for where the different service areas that you will work in. And it's important that it's done in a way that is actually helpful information for the user. So back in the day, people used to make up lots of different location pages and just list different locations. That's really frowned upon by Google now. It has to be helpful content. Something like if I were to mention Tiverton, a town near me, there might be a particular type of roofs that are there in certain housing areas, and that would be a really authentic reason for a roofer to mention that they work in Tiverton area and they have experience with those type of roofs. So you can apply that to your own industry or space. What is geographically relevant to comment on and tell your customers about? Then it's just a case of offering that you've worked in these areas, drop in some road names or some particular landmarks, or maybe an image on the page that has the image alt text of a particular landmark, maybe in the city centre. And that just gives nice cues to search engines and Google that you are actually operating in that geographic location. So it's a good geographic signal. Let's go on to site and technical performance. Now, you probably know already that a site should be mobile responsive and it should load quickly. You don't like it when a site takes a long time to load, especially on your mobile. You go elsewhere. We've got about 2 seconds to load up a site and make a good impression, and that's not actually very long. This is an actual ranking factor. If your site doesn't load fast, Google just won't even look at the content. It's not going to send a user to a bad experience. And so this is a really, really important thing. If your site has been made badly, if it's been made by your nephew, if it's not optimized properly with image sizes and all of these different factors that tell Google that you've worked hard on this, then it just won't rank very well. But there's something else as well for service and trade businesses specifically, and that's that a lot of your initial lead generation is going to be from emergencies. And most people that are trying to get a plumber in an emergency or a roofer in an emergency are using their phone. They're frantically standing under a leaking roof, and that they're trying to look online for quick help. So in that sense, it's really, really important that your website is mobile responsive, a nice experience on mobile, and that it's loading very, very quickly. So really important for local SEO, but especially for trade and service business. So the next one is authentic local content. And this is quite similar to earlier when I was saying about you need to give authentic and purposeful geographic locations and signals in your content. On your about page, you might actually define your service areas and whether there will be charges to a service area a bit further away. That's really great for a geographic location and tagging, I suppose. But authentic local content is more about working on your service pages, your case studies, and creating local content or local relevant content with regard to those pages. So, for example, services, and this is what I was saying earlier, really. Services, you might define that you do boiler installations. You might then also do more of a location-specific page that talks about that same service. And this might answer some objections or answer questions that are more relevant to something in that service area. So that's actually the roof thing that I said earlier, but it could be things about supply or timings and schedule changes. Make the page relevant for discussion, but certainly put the service and the location into play for that page. The best example of this, though, is case studies. Now, case studies are kind of middle of the funnel. They're not informational content where you're just attracting traffic to your site, but case studies are when people are trying to look for evidence that you've done something. And then if that's in the geographical location, all the better. So you can say, for example, I have my business has supplied this for many homes in this area, and your case studies will actually be backing that up. You probably have some images as well of, say, roofs or whatever, the jobs that you have done, and they are also going to link to reviews, and hopefully your reviews have those keywords in there as well. So service pages, case study pages, they're all really important to bring local relevant content into them. And of course, the strongest one for that is the case study. Now, the thing that does for search engines as well is that it proves again that you are working in the area. It's seeing proof that you have satisfied customers in that area. And if that is tied to a review, and that review actually says blah 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 business name provided me a la 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 in my location home, hope that made sense, then all of that is great context for LLMs and for Google and the bots to make sense of all of that. So really loads of opportunities there to optimize for local SEO. And essentially what we're doing is bringing locality and geography or geographic references into all of this quite standard website content. So we know that a good website should have the about page with where you work. It should have service pages. It should have case studies to get authority and trust. But of course, if we're lacing all of those with references to locality, then that is the local SEO optimization. So yeah, that's where we can start to be really proactive in that area. Okay, so here are the action steps, the things to do. Step one, first of all, optimize or create and then optimize your Google Business Profile. So this is actually like create it. Make sure that you've listed out the services, make sure you've listed out your service areas, and also make sure that all of the information on that profile is matching anything that's on your website as well. So you want it to be a similar profile. Google looks first at the Google Business Profile, and it wants that to match on the website. All of this is essential information to put on your Google Business Profile. Keep it active, keep it updated. Add little posts, show Google that you are an active business. Step two, build those hyper-local landing pages and localized content. So this is service locality landing pages. So we provide boiler installations in this area, and then make that a relevant and useful page. And that would probably be an entry point for a lot of people into your website anyway. So you're not duplicating content. But you are just, you're literally making yourself a search worthy or rank worthy page there. So yeah, build those out. Now this does take a lot more planning in the website structure. You do have to be careful about having a proper sitemap that links to everything properly. No page should be standing on its own. So that's something people do very wrong with a lot of location-based pages. But every page should be linked to from somewhere. Otherwise, Google is not very happy about that, and it ruins. It doesn't help the discoverability. So you have to have that planned out properly so that it actually makes sense as a customer journey. But yes, build out those pages, service pages, case study pages. Of course, do it also in your blog content. So that's top of funnel, and that's a great time and place to mention locality and geographical references, and then internally link those to the service and the case study pages. And then step three, to kind of really tie all of this in together, we have reviews on Google, but we also want to create lots of different links from other sites. So trade directories, really important for trade and service businesses that you're listed in them. And usually that is with reference to the location. So in the directory, you will be listed as, in my world, maybe a Columpton business or an Exeter business or Tiverton, and you will have that information matching what you have on your Google business profile and also on your website. But these places also offer reviews, and so what you should be doing is spreading your reviews out, not so that they're not just put on the Google business profile, but get some of them put onto Checkatrade or whatever directory you're on, so that you've got reviews coming to your website from different places. And so you then created this bigger web that's got lots of locality references to it. And the important thing is here is that directories are proof that you exist. People giving reviews are proof that you exist and that you are still working and that you are making people happy. So this really contributes to establishing authority and trust and likability and evidence that you're working and highly reviewed. But if that has local references woven into all of those reviews and those trust signals, all the better for your local SEO. So you can see that with a bit of coordination and a bit of planning, you're able to start bringing the local SEO factor into what should be an optimized web presence anyway. Now, a quick extra note is that now that we have LLMs, ChatGPT, Gemini, AI mode in Google, changing search and how all of that is behaving, we are seeing a real shift now towards more of an entity SEO. It's not just about what links you might have linking to your website and keywords. It's actually about how your business looks because of what other people are saying. So how many different entities is your business linked to? So that might be 1, 2, 3 directory, trade directory. That's good proof that your business exists. And so we would want your business linked to those 3 directories, those 3 entities. Your Google business profile is an entity. Your city is an entity. Any business that you've worked with is an entity. And so we want to have a link and, more importantly, a mention from that business. So it's not just a link, it's a mention. We want them to talk about you somewhere online. And that is more important now for LLM search and AI search. So one of the really big factors that we now have to start bringing into our SEO strategy, local and otherwise, is brand mentions. How many people are talking about your business, mentioning your business, and in a favorable way? And then obviously the location of those people that are talking about you factors in on your local AI, on your local search. So if you have 5 businesses in your local area mentioning you and positively just on their blogs, then that's obviously evidence that you are working in the area and that you're highly revered. Again, this is local SEO, and this is cutting edge local SEO, in the AI, in the world of AI search. So yeah, lots there to consider, lots there to work on. This side is called digital PR, where we have to start reaching out to people and have them talk about you and mention you and arrange all of that. But that should be part of your local SEO strategy. Okay, cool. So that was one hell of a run through. Lots there, just skimming the surface. But I hope that's helped. If you've got any questions, please leave them down below. If you've got anything to comment, please leave it down below. If you're interested in looking at figuring out how this stands for your business and what improvements you could make, then get in touch with me. We'll have a free, no obligation look-see into your business and your current presence, see how everything's going for you and what improvements could be made for your local SEO presence. Okay, cool. I'm Chris Good and this is Boosh Digital, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye.